I have a very good friend and colleague with whom I teach, Stanislav Grof, who was for a time the foremost LSD researcher in the world. And when he came to this country from Czechoslovakia, he was working at Johns Hopkins Medical School, giving LSD to terminal cancer patients and various other people doing research. And at one point, he took some LSD himself and just put on his blindfolds and kind of went inside. And as he had his trip happen, his inner experience, he said all of a sudden it dawned on him that he was actually in his laboratory in Czechoslovakia, and he could see it. He could see the hospital where he'd worked for 10 years doing research. And that coming for 3 years to Johns Hopkins and starting another research project and having all these colleagues in America was just a fantasy and a dream in his LSD session in Czechoslovakia. And for a moment, he said, I couldn't tell really which place was so, whether I was in Czechoslovakia and was dreaming that I'd gone to America, or in America dreaming I was back in Czechoslovakia. So I was in my lab there in Czechoslovakia, and I thought maybe I'll change something and see if it's really there. And he said, I went over to take a picture off the wall and turn something upside down. He said, and I froze in terror because he said, if I really could do it, it would mean I could go anywhere. And I didn't think I wanted that responsibility. The mind is playful. Creation is playful. It's a playful event. And the Buddhist text, the Buddhist myth of creation that comes out of the great Buddhist text, the Path of Purification, the Visuddhimagga, begins by speaking about world systems that arise out of mind. Hundreds of thousands of eons in this Buddhist creation myth. Again and again, worlds appear. And at first there are beings who are luminous, who live in luminous bodies, godlike beings. And then out of some longing, you know that longing, they get born on earth. And as they come, they eat the soil of the earth, and their luminosity disappears. And so then, when it disappears, the sun arises and the moon arises to give light and separate night from day. And as they eat further, the plants appear. And they eat the plants, and then openings in their body appear. You know those openings, right? And out of that, there are men and women, different kinds of openings. And then, as it says in the Buddhist creation myth, the men and women begin to brood over one another. You've probably noticed that as well. Begin to stake out territory, separate boundaries, make kingdoms, tell stories, become someone. And mind does it all. There's a Hindu song which goes, sung to children in the womb, let me remember who I am. And then the second verse, which is sung just when the child is born, is, oh, I have forgotten already. Now, as we undertake the path of Buddhist meditation, we begin to study the laws of mind and heart and body. We begin to notice the play of the senses of seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching. We begin to notice the qualities of mind, the moods, what are called the mental factors of love and hate and greed and desire and compassion, which arise with these senses, and of all of the thought stuff of mind. In Buddhism, mind is everything that is non-material: feelings, thoughts, attitudes, intuition, consciousness. What is mind? No matter. What is matter? Never mind. They're divided in some way. So as we begin to study, simply by sitting and starting to meditate, we can also use an amazing fact, which is that the mind, our mind, can be aware of itself. Let's do another little exercise, meditation. This time I would like you to sit for 3 minutes. And since people said there was wandering mind and thought, probably tens of thousands in this very room in that 5 minutes, your exercise this time will not be to feel your breath or body or do whatever mantra or practice you do. Instead, it will be a very simple practice. For 3 minutes, I would like you to count your thoughts. Some will be visual thoughts. Most will be word thoughts. Sometimes you get the audio and visual portion together on the screen. Some will be about other places. Some will be about what you're doing. Am I doing this right? Oh, there's number 3. They're kind of sneaky, or they come up and they whisper soft words, or they even get sneakier. They say, we're not thinking now, are we? And oh, there's one. 7, I got you. So for 3 minutes, like a cat at a mouse hole, let your eyes close again, gently, and begin simply to notice the thoughts and count them. Don't count the numbers. They're a thought, I know, but that's the cat chasing its tail. So notice see what you count. So first of all, numbers. How many thoughts did you notice? 31? Anyone else? 16, 11. See, some people just have shorter thoughts than others. That's what it is. 21, 25, 15. How many of you had primarily visual thoughts without words, picture thoughts? So you're the picture people. How many of you had word thoughts without pictures? How many of you had both together? And then how many had another kind, more kinesthetic, some other sense of thought, right? So you can begin to even distinguish the forms within which thought arises. Here we are, and the mind creates past, creates future, or creates commentary on the present, visual or word thoughts. You're thinking about what will happen or what did happen. And out of it, the whole sense of our world is created. To begin to meditate is to begin to study this creative capacity of mind.